Hello friend, welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. I hope you had a good Christmas and you got a rest and a lot of gifts underneath the Christmas tree, and we can continue here with a Highlander. This one you know from previous videos. It's 2013 Highlander which I'm servicing for the owners as a V6 2GR FE and approximately 165,000 miles. And at that mileage the vehicle was perfectly always working, and since I serviced it, it never had any hiccups. It was always just a regular preventative maintenance. Let's see what we will find today. The problem is the owner called and they said, hey, we have a check engine light and the TRAC OFF light on, unfortunately, and we need you to deal with it. So this is our situation, and you always like that mileage, so it's almost 165,000 miles. So let's go shut off the engine and bring the little scanner. We have to locate the port, which is right there. So I will connect the scanner to it, and only after that we will put the ignition on. Just slipped on that plastic. So ignition on, not to start up, and let's see what we've got on this wonderful Highlander. What will be the codes? System 2 lean, bank 1, and there will be more codes. Wow. If you look in that upper right hand corner, you see it's a 01/04, so it's a first code out of 4. Let's continue to the other one. So the second one, it's P0174, system 2 lean on the bank 2. So I wonder if we continue, if the codes will repeat itself. We will go on the number 3, right? This is what I just said. Look, we are back to 0171. It was the third code, and when I go further, 04 out of 4, the last one is again P0174. So we have basically 2 codes recorded here in the computer, in the ECM. Now comes the head scratching, right? What to do with this? Now each of these codes comes with a freeze frame data, and that means the data which were being watched by the computer at the moment when the code was triggered. So if you can interpret this data, that's the best always way to start reading through all of this and try to see some anomaly which could give you idea why these 2 codes on both banks of the V6 engine were triggered. Only after recording all of that or looking over that, I will recommend erasing it and start testing the vehicle. And after you erase the data, if it's so-called hard code, it will come immediately back. Basically the engine will start running and it will come immediately back. Here you can see incompleted monitors. These are flashing. We can refresh the screen, but you can see it's still the same. Within a few minutes of engine running, there are not any codes coming back. Now, what these 2 codes actually mean? Well, the computer says that the whole engine, not just one side, because it's a V6, so the whole engine is running using too much air and not enough fuel. So there is a problem with that fuel-air ratio, and where it could be, there's a many possible causes. There could be cracked intake tube, there could be vacuum leaks, there could be intake bed gaskets. All of them will be pulling some false air in it. There could be also dirty MAF sensors. Let's go look obviously underneath the hood where the engine is. And you will see right away there is some problem with the airbox. I guess this airbox cracked or something because it's softer here. That itself could be actually pulling too much air into the engine. However, the MAF, it's right here, so the MAF should be saying to the whole system to change that. But we will definitely need to start looking on this box if this is completely sealed, because it's supposed to bring air from here in the box. The filter is there, hopefully the filter is there, we will see. We need to recheck this and check the MAF. Of course, I just said there could be there could be a crack right here, for example, in this whole pipe, or this could be loose. This could be loose, so you have to be really looking around. What is underneath this cover? Let's go look. Can we do it by one hand? You need to inspect all of this. If these are not loose, these bolts for this intake plenum, that's a huge one, because this is the one head and the other one is hidden underneath this cover. So there's a lot of things to check. All the vacuum lines, we need to check that nobody maybe tried to replace the engine air filter and ripped one of the vacuum lines, and now it's getting false air into the intake. So let's go and do our check here. And in this case, what we see here, I'm going to remove this whole part. So I will loosen this 10mm. I will disconnect the MAF, pushing on it, the electrical connector. It will come out with it, and I believe there are two 10mm. We will see. Hopefully I'm not getting too much in your way so you can see something. These are carefully... Oh, that was a nice vacuum actually. That's a good sign. That shouldn't be. This part actually, you just heard it. This whole box was holding the vacuum. So this should be not leaking at all. Maybe it's already overkill removing it, because this box, we just heard it, if it can hold the vacuum, that means this tape is perfectly sealing entire box. It's absolutely clear to me. I have no question about that. Carefully wiggling it out, and we will be checking all that. There's some broken part, something happened here. Maybe somebody was replacing it and pushed on it maybe, and it broke. Look at the engine air filter, that seems to be brand new, very recent. I don't see any horrible debris here. I don't consider this a reason to replace that. So what we do, just take it, and if you are careful you will not damage it, and all that rough stuff will fall out, and you can definitely reuse this one. What do you think will be the condition of that MAF? Will it be dirty? I know I did clean it for them, but that might be years already. I think they were one of my first customers. They are neighbors here. long time ago I did for them a lot of maintenance to keep this vehicle up and good shape. I'm not sure how this happened, but let's go and look at the MAF, because the MAF, it's mass airflow, right? It's directly connected to the code we are discussing. It's not completely bad. What do you see? It's not completely bad, but as a part of this diagnosing, right, there is more wires right here. Hopefully you can see them right there. Part of this diagnostic time, I will definitely clean this sensor. Isn't it amazing how much use we have for this garbage can? So you know from my videos, this cleaner, you don't use any brushes, nothing like that. You wear protective glasses, huh? Yeah? You don't want this to spray in your eye, and you cleaning those wires from both sides here. And I already can see there's a huge difference. They were obviously slightly covered by the dust, so that MAF sensor purely theoretically could have been not sending correct data, therefore suggesting that the vehicle, the engine, is running incorrectly and the mixture of the air and the fuel is incorrect. These owners, and this is important, I didn't mention it, they didn't report it to me any drivability issues. So this code was probably triggered on the very fine edge, because there is not some radical problem with drivability. The vehicle wasn't reported to have problem while accelerating or idling or anything like that. She just said, hey, we have a check engine light, and there is also one more light. I will continue with cleaning this box and maybe sealing it more, despite the fact we clearly heard that vacuum has, it seems to be that entire intake, it's actually correct, but I will add some tape here, I guess, clean it, add a tape. I can hear all the way here some of you thinking, hey, this guy's crazy. It's the airbox, it's the broken airbox. This whole unit, it's damaged and it's sending too much air to the engine. Well, when I saw it, when I opened the hood and I saw this damage and that incorrect fix to the damage, I thought the same way. I was going to blame it. I mean, what else we need to be looking for, correct? It's sending too much air, it's leaking, and that's it. The case is closed. There's no more reason to investigate. Well, then, this is careful. These two 10 millimeters, be careful. I saw so many of them broken, especially here in the back. When the techs have a hard time to get to it, you really need to be careful. Almost don't use the power tools for it. It's better to grab the ratchet and carefully torque it. But again, in today's world of being in a hurry, everybody, yep, this can be easily damaged. I saw many of them broken down there. So I have a good torque. I added additional tape on it. That's today's fix. I don't think you can buy it today somewhere. you will not forget about all these vacuum lines. Make sure they are not cracked, split, they hold the vacuum. There is a third one right here. But they were all holding that vacuum perfectly. So that tells me that the problem is actually elsewhere. But we will see. We will go on test drive together. And we will see if this vehicle has any drivability problems. I wasn't told any. I was just told the only problem is there is a check engine light triggered. Someone else adding more damages. I didn't touch this crank, but I knew it's tight, but let's retorque it. Let's put the muff, which has plenty of time to dry and be clean. The wires looks very nice right now. Here also there is a rubber gasket. Always check it's there, it's not being pinched. So these two very small Phillips screws, we will look at. I looked on all of them, as I said. If something got pulled, broken, oh, listen for a click. Oop. Right, so I checked all of that. I don't see anything misplaced, loose, damaged or anything like that. So I can put this cover back. Up and one here, up. Remove my tools and let's go and drive it. So let's go for a short test drive. We will see if anything shows. These codes mostly will trigger under loads, I mean heavy loads, that mean driving up hills, accelerating. But again, accelerating, being alone here, probably not. It's more like driving long up hills and you need to accelerate there and so on. So I don't expect any drivability issues because they weren't reported. I barely touched the throttle. The vehicle's speeding up absolutely perfectly. It was less than half throttle. It's a V6, this 2G RFE, it's great engine, pulls like crazy. This Highlander isn't too heavy, so it has no problem to move this Highlander really quickly. Yep, there's definitely, it wasn't reported and there is not a drivability issue on this case today. Yep, I didn't expect it. This case will be either closed or it will come back. And then there will be a testing all AF sensors, testing the fuel pressure. Possibly there could be even slightly plugged catalytic converter, so the vehicle cannot breathe, the engine cannot breathe correctly. There's so many things on these two codes. You will be surprised actually. I don't expect seeing this vehicle back. Something just tells me that it won't. But if it will, we will continue this in different video on this channel. Thank you for watching and have a great day, my friend.